Well, it seems as Claressa Shields won't be boxing for the summer, but we do have an MMA announcement on Thursday morning on ESPN. The GOAT announced that she will be getting back into the Octagon. That's right, she's back, getting back in the Octagon. And the first time she was nervous, clearly. She had the jitters. She was talking to herself on the way down. I mean, she admitted this. It ain't like I'm making it up. But she got into the ring and she did what she had to do. Coming back and knocking out Brittney Elkin, or stopping Brittney Elkin in the, I guess in the third round. And now they're putting her up against someone that you probably never heard of, Abigail Montes. Now, don't get it twisted. She only has 2 fights, but it appears this girl been fighting her whole life. And we're about to get into that. She's ranked number 17th in Mexico, and that's just Mexico, so that's nothing to brag at. She's 5'4", 135 pounds. I'm not exactly sure what weight they're going to be fighting at, but according to her rap sheet, she's only 135 pounds. She does have some boxing experience. Exactly how much, I'm not quite sure, but she has been in the boxing ring. I'm assuming there's some type of amateurs. But as you see right there, her, doing her little kickboxing routine. So she's more of a stand-up fighter, but she also has a wrestling background. So she's kind of diverse. But and right here you see her working on her boxing and her head movement and whatnot. And she looks like she got some skills. Like, she's pretty nice with her hands, but we'll see her fighting in competition in a few minutes. We'll take a glance at her 2 professional fights. Now, I will say this. Just to sum her up, in my opinion, she's a striker with a wrestling background, and when she gets you on the ground, it's more ground and pound. I don't think she's looking to really submit you unless it's like a chokehold or something like that. But I think the fighter Claressa Shields fought in her first MMA fight, Brittney Elkin, I think she was more skilled on the ground than this girl is. She'll get you on the ground, but when she gets you there, she's going to try to knock your head off and beat you into the ground, not necessarily try to get you in some type of arm hold or whatnot and break your arm. So let's take a look at her first professional fight, and she's going up against Claudia Zamora. They're fighting at 135 pounds. I don't see how they made this matchup, because Claressa Shields ain't gonna come nowhere near no 135 pounds. But let's see what Miss Abigail Brave Montes look like in the ring. Like I said earlier, she's definitely a striker. As you see, she's she's getting rushed right now. That's what she's doing. But she's going to recover. She's grabbing and putting some knees into the side of her opponent. Now, check out her hands, because that's really what she's good at. Throwing her hands and occasionally putting a kick in the air. But she's definitely good with her hands. In my opinion, even though she does have a wrestling background, I believe her strongest component to her fighting is her boxing skills. She got a pretty good jab, got a pretty good straight right. But how does that work well against Claressa Shields? Because there's no way you're going to go in there and outbox Claressa Shields. And unfortunately, I couldn't put this whole fight on here because it would make the video way too long. But if you go back and watch this fight, all she does is 1-2, 1-2, 3, 1-2, 1-2, 3, and occasionally her opponent would grab her, and you will see the exchange we just saw before, or what we're seeing right now. She'll break loose and just commence to 1-2, 1-2, 3. Either jab, jab straight, or jab, jab. Then she, every now and then she'll put a kick in the air, to keep her honest. But if this is what she's going to bring to the table against Cornell, now notice, she didn't want to have nothing to do with the ground, which I thought was a little funny considering she does have a wrestling background. But like I said earlier, she's not going to try to submit you. If she gets you on the ground, she might try to bust you up, ground and pound you, but she's not trying to submit you. It's all stand-up game for the most part, boxing with an occasional kick. That ain't gonna work against Claressa Shields. If this is the case, Claressa Shields is about to be 2-0. If this is the case, and she's the smaller girl. But she did what she had to do in this fight. She basically just boxed the girl to death, pieced her up, and she got the win. Alright, now let's check out her more recent fight and her last fight at that, against Teresa de Jesus Lopez. And it's kind of going to be the same thing as far as the standing. Matter of fact, let me just explain this right now. I did speed it up for the sake of the video, because it's going to be a lot of ground and pound action in this fight. But she started off, boxing, and she got a hold of the girl. And basically, this is the strategy I would assume she would try against Claressa Shields, because as good as her hands is, I don't see nowhere in the world she'll try to fight Claressa at her own strategy, basically boxing. Even if she can apply a few kicks here and there, I just don't see it. But this is what I assume she would attempt with Claressa. Get her on the ground, ride her, and try to keep her on the ground. Maybe not necessarily submit her, but just straight ground and pound her. Try to beat her to a pulp. That's what I would assume would be the strategy. And Teresita, Lopez really didn't have much of a ground game herself, so she just wanted to keep her on the ground and just beat her down, and that's basically what she did until eventually the referee stopped it. So the question is, with her small stature and smaller size, would she still have the technique and the strength to be able to do this to Claressa Shields? And as we seen in Claressa's last fight, even though she might lack a little bit of technique, some of that stuff she might actually be able to power out just off of being a bigger, stronger woman. But technique can take you a long way. And like I said, this girl does have a wrestling background. So it's going to be interesting to see how frequent and often she will be able to get Claressa on the ground and put in a little work on her, like we're seeing her do right now. But don't be surprised if Claressa gets on the ground and maybe do the same. I think this is going to be a more intriguing fight, to tell you the truth, because you see similarities. Even though she has a wrestling background, like I said, it still kind of look raw in my opinion, but I'm not an MMA guy. I don't think she's overwhelmingly good on the ground. I think her best work is standing up. So this is going to be interesting. We might actually get to see a slugfest. Who knows? I would say her biggest advantage over Claressa Shields is she knows how to get you on the ground. She knows how to keep you on the ground. So to me, that aspect of Claressa's game must improve. And I think everybody knows that she must be able to, number one, get off the ground, figure out ways how to get off the ground. And number two, when she gets somebody on the ground, how to make sure she's able to keep them down there and take advantage of the ground and pound style. But I'm just gonna go on the record and say I do believe Claressa Shields will get the win. But until she get her ground game perfected, anybody they put in there with a wrestling background, jiu-jitsu background, any type of grappling background will give her problems. But I do think she'll have enough size and strength to possibly muscle out some of the stuff that Montes will bring to the table. But I'm not super confident. I will say this, but I do think she'll get the win. And that's pretty much all I got this Head Busting Boxers on Fight Doctor. Hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Hit me up in the comment section, especially my MMA fans, and let me know what you think. Will Claressa Shields walk out of the MMA arena with another win, or will she be taking that loss that all her haters are waiting on her to take? I think she got enough to get the win, but I'm not super confident though. But let me know what you think. This Head Busting Boxers on Fight Doctor. I am out.